So let's try this question. Determine the following graphically and algebraically. Determine the equation of a line perpendicular to the following and then has the same x-intercept as a line. Okay, so first part, if I have this equation, so I can say my original equation has a slope of -1/2, right? So my new slope is perpendicular to it, which means I need to make sure that they are negative reciprocal to one another because they are perpendicular to each other. And therefore, my new slope will be a +2. And that's due to the fact that it's perpendicular to M1. So that is what I have for M2. So M2 is equal to +2. And that has the same x-intercept as the line. So I want to grab the x-intercept from this. So how do I find it? Well, think about what an x-intercept is. This is my x, this is my y. And for my x-intercept has to lie along here. And notice that my y value is always going to be 0 there. So what is my x-intercept? Well, I have to sub y equals 0. And when I do that, and I'm going to erase this drawing, I will get, 2 bracket x, I didn't really need the bracket, minus 3 bracket 0 plus 8 equals 0. So I have 2x, that's gone because that's a 0, plus 8 equals 0. I'm going to move that 8 to the other side. 2x is equal to -8. I'm going to divide by 2 on both sides, and x is equal to -4. So that means my x-intercept is -4, 0. So I like to write this down as a coordinate when I do that. So my information that I have is my M2 is equal to 2, meaning my slope of my new line is equal to 2. And then it has an x-intercept of -4, 0. So algebraically, I've basically found that. Therefore, I have y equals 2x plus b. So I shouldn't really write therefore. So this was kind of my step 1. This is my step 2. At my step 3, I wrote down what I have. And so I'm now going to sub in my new coordinate. So I'm going to sub -4, 0. And I get y is equal to, not y equals, I'm going to have 0 is equal to 2 bracket -4 plus b. So now I'm going to get 0 equals -8 plus b. And therefore, I'm going to add 8 to both sides. And b is equal to 8. So what does that make me do? Well, my fourth step, for an equation of a line, you have to always write down your m and b. And so y is equal to 2x plus 8. Therefore, y is equals to 2x plus 8. And I have found the equation of the line. So I'll just write a little more information. Therefore, y equals 2x plus 8 has a slope perpendicular to y equals -½ x minus 1 and has the same x-intercept as 2x minus 3y plus 8 equals 0. Okay, so that was my algebraic way of finding my equation, and that's usually my preferred way, doing it algebraically. So graphically, so we got to be comfortable with graphing, so I'm going to graph the first line. So the first line, the yellow line, has a y-intercept of -1, so I'm going to plot the y-intercept. The slope is -1/2, which means, -1/2, that means that it went, that's the rise, and that's the run, which means I have to go down 1 and write 2. So go down 1, write 2, go down 1, write 2. I'm going to continue to that to the left. So it's like up 1, left 2, up 1, left 2. So you can tell I'm making like this straight line. And B, and let's say this is line C. And so this is my line A. I'm going to try to, well, I don't really need to plot B, do I? Well, I could, but then I have to rearrange that one, and I have to solve for Y, and then do that. So I kind of went through it algebraically, so I'm just going to use this information. But if you were purely doing it graphically, you would have to rearrange this equation to get Y by itself. So I'm just going to use information that it goes through -4, 0, just because I already found that. So -4, 0 is right there. Meanwhile, to my original line A, my line has to have a slope of 2 instead of -1/2. So from -4, 0, what I'm going to do is I am going to write my new slope, which is +2, which is basically I have to go up 2 and then right 1. So I'm going to go up 2 and then right 1. Up 2, right 1. Up 2, right 1. Up 2, right 1. The line, what we can indicate and what we can see is that the y-intercept is in fact 0, 8, and it has a slope of m equals 2. And with those two information, you would have been able to realize that therefore y is equal to 2x plus 8. So this is your algebraic, and this is my graphic.